I gave a nice speech earlier about not being cruel to animals. I think I made my point. Well, I'm going to just expand on that briefly right now.
Yeah, you're bringing in an expert.
Well, I am. And now, don't worry. We'll get back to the comedy later.
Right.
But right now, this is an important issue, and I think it needs to be addressed. I'm joined by Tracy Oliverio Marazzi, local do-gooder, ladies and gentlemen. And she is the one who brought this to my attention, this petition that was formed to move the traveling zoo out of Adamston. It was over there, I guess, for a few days. Good morning. How are you, Tracy?
I'm good. How are you, Jack?
I'm doing well. Thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for bringing this to my attention and telling people about this. I do appreciate it. How long was that traveling zoo over there?
About a week.
About a week. Okay. And you have really been instrumental in bringing attention to this. You even did an interview with Channel 5 about this, right?
I did. I think it's supposed to be on the news this evening between 5 and 6 on Channel 5. Okay.
So tell people about traveling zoos and generally what the conditions are for animals in these traveling zoos.
It's very hard to put this into words in a couple of minutes, but the main things that I want to hit are that these zoos are inhumane. There's so many things: a lack of cleanliness, poor feeding and watering practices. They get very little or no veterinary care. They're exposed to high temperatures in a parking lot all day long.
Yeah.
The living conditions are small, inhumane spaces. They have no social interaction. Many of the animals are isolated. They travel from city to city every day, all of their lives, and live in metal cages, small metal cages. It causes high stress, depression, agitation, aggression, and sometimes even early death. One of the things that bothered me the most, and I forced myself to go to the zoo, even though I didn't want to, the thing that bothered me the most was they separate the baby lion cubs and tiger cubs from their mothers. They keep them in a small box behind a desk so that you can't really see them, but I could hear them crying. And they use these cubs to do photo shoots all day long. And so they're separated from their mothers, and for $20, you can pose with a baby lion cub or tiger cub. It's horrendous. Many of them don't survive because they're separated from their mothers. I just don't believe that these animals were put on this earth for our entertainment. And what I want people to know is that 20 minutes of entertainment for us is a lifetime of misery for these animals. This is not their natural habitat. This is not the way their life is supposed to be.
I agree. And you know what? I was saying this earlier. I don't think that people realize this. You just don't.
It doesn't dawn on.
It doesn't
people.
dawn on you. You know, I mean, and Jeff and I mentioned this earlier. I went through a big chunk of my life just being excited because I could pick up a cub or I could go see a Bengal tiger close up, and it didn't dawn on me for the longest time what it's like for those animals, and it is miserable. It's miserable for them, and you're right. It's excruciating. It is a life of torture, and the more people realize this, hopefully the sooner it stops.
Yeah, it's truly the animal lovers that go to these.
Right.
They want to see the animals, especially the children. And I understand this, but they're great alternatives to going to these traveling zoos. I mean, even visit the Pittsburgh Zoo or the Hovatter Zoo, where they have more of a natural habitat and environment and regular schedules to eat.
Right.
And they're not in isolation. They're not kept in small metal cages. The tiger, I have a picture of the tiger in a cage by himself with a ball. And that's all he has in his cage is a ball. Yeah. All he did was lay the whole time I was there and looked at you.
You're breaking my heart.
Please help me. Let me out of this cage. This is horrible. That's their life, 24/7. 365 days a year, traveling from city to city.
Tracy,
that's what people need to think about.
They do, and I'm glad, again, that you got involved in this. I encourage people to see your interview on Channel 5. And is there a website or anywhere you want to direct people to go before we wrap this up here?
I don't really. I mean, they could friend me on Facebook. I've posted tons of information
Okay.
on my Facebook page.
All right.
But
Well, okay.
if you see anything, you can always contact the USDA to file a complaint. If you see anything at one of these traveling zoos that's inhumane or wrong,
Okay.
that
And you know
they're
what?
doing.
I saw also you can, if you're just looking for a way to, report something, you can start by contacting your local humane society,
Yes.
and they can kind of send you in the right direction. Tracy, I'm out of time. Again, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. It's sad. It really is. It's just awful. And I hate to be a little Jackie Downer, but this is what happens sometimes when you keeps it real.
Yeah.
I mean, people.
Not everything's funny.
Not everything's funny, and this is not funny. And this is something that hopefully the more people become aware of it, and the more they start to see it from the animal's perspective, the less of these traveling zoos we're going to see. We're back with your forecast and a news update next.
Mix 104.